For an update on what's happening in the street's Trifecta stocks portfolio, I'm joined by the fundamental analyst, Chris Versace. So are you a burrito man?
Am I willing to catch a falling burrito? Is that your question, Rhonda?
It is.
Yeah, well, I think what you're alluding to is we added Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, to the Trifecta bullpen. And it's one of those things that, the company is really being hit both from the business and the stock perspective with these E. coli breakouts. And, we've seen things like this before. Jack in the Box in the 90s, Taco Bell about a decade ago. And it tends to have a fixed impact on the business. And we do think that Chipotle is going to get ahead of it. So we threw Chipotle onto the bullpen list so we can be ready. And I think that once the management team really gets its arms around the problem and it fades, we'll be back to the races with Chipotle. I mean, the stock has fallen to levels that only a few multiple points could really drive significant upside. So it's on the watch list for sure.
So if the stock drops further, but there haven't been those complete overhaul changes yet that management wants, would you consider it just on price alone, or do you really need to see something beyond the price?
I think we need to see something beyond the price, because the big risk here is that we see some spillover from the impact in 2015 into early 2016, which would then take earnings expectations down further. So when we're on the bullpen, it's usually a combination of things, both price and something on the fundamental side, or an improvement in the chart, because remember, Bob Lang is the technical analyst there, and in the comments that we talk about, Bob wants to see a turn in the MACD lines and some other technical indicators that would get him behind the name.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Costco, which just reported earnings.
Sure. So last night, Costco reported a 1% increase in revenues, for the November quarter, telegraphed because we get their monthly numbers. I think the surprise that caught people was that the EPS was weaker than expected. Some issues potentially on the gross margin line, as well as a higher than expected tax rate. Now, the issue is Costco tends to be very tight-lipped in their earnings release, which means we need to really pay attention to what they say on the conference call, and we'll be doing that. But our inclination, given our view on the cash-strapped consumer and the very positive comparable numbers that the company's putting up, ex-gas, ex-currency, is we're likely to be likely to be buyers on weakness.
All right. Well, we'll look to see if you do that indeed. Chris Versace, thanks as always.
Sure thing, Rhonda.
I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Street.